and fermentation, movies and inebriation. With films and fermentation, comedy mixed with tasty libation. Films and fermentation, with Leo, Batman, and Mike.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Films and Fermentation. This is our next episode here, episode 196. We're calling this one Before a Live Studio Audience. Cue applause. I'm going to have to use the applause button a lot the next TV episode.
Oh, wrong
Was
button.
it supposed to be like a Cylon or something?
Wrong button.
Wrong button. That's right. We are Films and Fermentation, the most well-oiled machine on podcast history. We're a movie and alcohol podcast, the number one pop culture podcast on Good Pods. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
Three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced, except tonight we're talking shit about TV shows. That's right. In this episode, the drinks are strong and the opinions are binge-worthy. Today we're turning off the silver screen and flipping on the small one to talk about our all-time favorite TV shows. Because sometimes a 10-season emotional roller coaster is exactly what you need after a long day. From classic sitcoms to prestige dramas, we'll laugh, we'll cry, and probably argue about which show had the best theme song. Spoiler alert, if you dish Cheers, we're cutting your mic. So grab a drink and settle in. This episode is more packed than your DVR was back in 2005. Don't forget, you can drop us an email, filmsandfermentation@gmail.com, or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation, find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by joining us on the Pod Nation Media Network on Roku, or joining our Substack newsletter. We also now have two subreddits that we are moderating on Reddit. It is r/Films and Fermentation and r/Share Your Podcast for all independent podcasters out there. Because we are an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members-only content. And that's right. For a $1 donation, we'll sing your favorite TV theme song. Go to patreon.com/Films and Fermentation or purchase our merchandise at teespring.com. I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing a lot of theme song singing tonight. I have a feeling.
Yeah, maybe a few.
You could also text us and let us know how poorly we did with those theme songs at 904-867-4466. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen?
I'll go. I am drinking the classic 7 & 7.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
I am also drinking a sort of easy cocktail. I'm drinking gin and ginger ale. And I'm drinking the gin in honor of one of the shows on my list later. So I'll explain that when we get to it.
Very nice. I am abstaining for now. I will present my beer in due time, at the right time.
So I feel your beer is theme related.
Nah.
Sure. Nah, or are you just waiting for your wife to bring it up to you?
I think it's the
Damn, that baby always needing food and changing and naps.
Megan!
Hold me.
And let me guess, the baby drank all your damn beer and she went out to get some
All
more.
my beer. I have a lot of bottles in the fridge. There are different
He's
bottles
teething.
in the fridge too. Yeah.
So we'll find out what Kevin's beer is as soon as his wife gets a chance to put the baby down and bring it to him. Fucking caveman.
Oh.
Couldn't bring it up with him.
While we're waiting for that, let's hear what Mike has to say about film history this week.
This week in film history with Mike. This week in film history with Mike.
Not bad, right? I'm getting a little better with those segues.
Getting there. In 1942, Yankee Doodle Dandy, based on the life of George M. Cohen, directed by Michael Curtiz, starring James Cagney and Joan Leslie, premieres in New York City. Academy Award Best Actor 1943.
I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy.
Andy?
Yankee Doodle doer.
Thank you.
Next one, sir.
1961, A Raisin in the Sun, film adaptation of Lorraine Hansberg's stage play, starring the Broadway cast, including Sidney Poitier, Ruby Dee, John Fielder, and Ivan Dixon, premieres.
There was a remake in the late 90s, early 2000s, a TV remake that starred Diddy.
God.
Playing the Sidney Poitier part.
Wow.
Didn't age well.
No.
Next one, sir.
Moving on, 1994, The Flintstones live-action movie based on the 1960s cartoon starring John Goodman as Fred, Rick Moranis as Barney, Rosie O'Donnell as Betty, premieres.
Also starred Elizabeth Taylor as Wilma's mother.
Oh, did it?
Yes, the legendary Elizabeth Taylor died not long after this. Her final film role was in 1994 as the fucking Flintstones. Anyway.
Anyway, in 1995, actor Christopher Reeve is paralyzed from the neck down after falling from his horse in a riding competition in Culpeper, Virginia.
Man, I remember that on the news when that happened. Man, that was
went down.
So devastating. And do you guys remember the commercial that they released where he like gets up and out of the wheelchair and starts walking across the stage? So it was a commercial that was done for like some medical research thing or something, talking about the research they were doing on paralysis and stuff.
Okay.
And people like went crazy over it when it happened because they thought it was real. Like this is like early CGI, you know, so it's like they just saw Christopher Reeve get up and walk across the stage.
Oh wow. No, I don't
and it
remember
was
that.
I remember when it happened, it was like a kind of controversial. Anyway.
2003 animated Fishtail Finding Nemo, directed by Andrew Stanton and starring Albert Brooks and Elaine DeGeneres, premieres in the U.S. and Canada.
Just keep swimming, just swimming.
Are you my conscience? Yes, we haven't talked in a while.
My favorite line in the movie is when she's like sleeping and he's trying to wake her up and she's like, "Yes, I am a natural blue."
I speak well.
Seymour stole my money. All righty.
2004, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the third film based on the books by J.K. Rowling, is released in the UK cinemas.
Have either of you guys been seeing stuff about the casting for the HBO series?
I saw something the other day.
I see the kids.
Yeah, the kids. I mean, the kids look like they kind of fit, you know, the descriptions.
I saw also Snape.
Yes, that's the one that's got everybody kind of in an uproar. I don't give a shit. I'm like, you know, I'd just like to see how the guy plays it and, you know, make my judgment after that. But yeah, there are some people out there a little upset.
Upset that the brother's playing Snape.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I don't care, man.
Okay.
I kind of want to see like John Lithgow as Dumbledore. I think that was like an interesting casting because like the first time I think they've actually like casted an American actor for one of the roles. He did play Churchill though in The Queen, so he does know how to do an English accent. All right, next one.
2005, DreamWorks releases computer animated film Madagascar with voices by Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, and Jada Pinkett Smith.
I like to
move it. I like to move it. I like to move it.
Just smile.
Move it.
Move it. I don't know why my computer just went to full screen and I didn't touch a button. All right.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa.
Kevin's gonna like take up the whole computer screen now.
Paste without formatting, please.
See, kids, this is why you should always do your homework before
Before the class.
You haven't checked it yet. I'm fine.
before the class when it's due.
2014, Seth MacFarlane's A Million Ways to Die in the West is released to theaters. MacFarlane's first live-action role on the big screen.
Hey, I know that movie. I talked about it in our Western episode.
And the last one is 2015 Jurassic World, directed by Colin Trevorrow, excuse me, and starring Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, premieres in Paris.
Ooh la la.
I actually liked Jurassic World. I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, but good. You all right there, Mike?
I was doing the whole, keeping the dinosaurs.
Oh,
back.
keeping the Raptors at bay. My boy Blue. All right. So now that Kevin's done his homework, let's see what he has for us here.
Kevin's here, he's here for a bit. He's got news, it's beer news with Kevin.
I mean, in my mind, this was done well ahead of time. I had seen this. Megan shared this with me. You shared this with me.
Yeah, you and I were discussing this online the other day.
Yeah, and
I'm kind of jazzed about this, man. I got to try to find these beers.
Yeah. So Yards Brewing Company is hosting, or did host this past Wednesday, a benefit for Kevin Bacon's new brew, 6 Degrees of Fermentation.
Hey, I got to get Kevin Bacon on the show.
So let me tempt you with some possibilities. Actor Kevin Bacon continues to find his ways to give back to his hometown of Philadelphia. Yards Brewing Company on Spring Garden Street is hosting an event hosted an event from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Wednesday, benefiting. There we go. Bacon's charity, 6 Degrees. 6 Degrees is a community restoration, like a charity that gives back to the community, hopes to improve the neighborhoods that they give to, whether it be educationally, community, within the neighborhood, the community itself. Kevin Bacon has launched a brew called 6 Degrees of Fermentation. Each can shows a different image of the actor. Portion of the sales will benefit programs centered on youth empowerment, equality, and justice. Until the end of June, the other brewers who are involved in this project are selling the brew. In addition to Yards, you have Evil Genius Beer Company, Attic Brewing Company, Human Robot Brewery, Sacred Vice Brewing Company, and Wissahickon Brewing Company. If you were to buy the 6-pack from them during the time before the end of June, you also get a chance to win a meet and greet with Ethan and his singer brother Michael at the Bacon Brothers concert in Philadelphia. So my understanding is you don't need to buy one of their 6-packs at every brewery, but you do have to stop in at every brewery prior to the end of June, getting a little stamp and then filling out this card to turn it in for your chance to win that. So I'm very excited to introduce to you, gentlemen, my lovely.
Oh, did you find it?
My lovely wife had to go into the office today,
Ah.
and she came back. Oh, are they all the same? Oh, I guess these are the ones that Yards is carrying. Oh man, you guys. No, I mean it's for a good cause. This is I guess this is Yard's contribution to it. The Kevin Bacon image on the can is that from Footloose. This is the 6 Degrees of Fermentation, a collaborative Kolsch style ale supporting the 6 Degrees Org. It's 4% alcohol by volume. Brewed on the principle that everyone is in need of a connection. And the other images I've seen were ones from
I saw one from Tremors.
Tremors. I saw one from, I believe it's A Few Good Men, but it could be from Taking Chance, which was that other military movie.
Is there one from the air up there?
The Air.
I think there was one from Wild Things. There should be one from Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special where it's just Kevin Bacon as himself.
We're having a baby. No, I have no idea.
We're having a baby. It's his.
We're having a baby, or she's having a baby. I forget.
She's having a baby. It's his cameo appearance at the beginning of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I'm going to see if I can see.
That's cool though, man. Like that's awesome. You were able to get some at least. Like
Megan came up. She goes, "I have to go into work tomorrow, so I'll stop at Yards on the way, and I'll grab the beers." I was like, "Wow, great!"
Awesome.
So not terrible. I see a picture here. See if I can get a better image. Okay, so him as Magneto in X-Men Class. Him in Apollo 13.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one of him in his military uniform. I'm guessing A Few Good Men.
There's definitely one from Tremors because I remember seeing that one online.
Tremors is one of them.
Yeah.
Footloose is the other. There's one I can't quite tell. He kind of looks like Spicoli from Fast Times, but I know he wasn't in Fast Times. But he has long blonde hair. He's kind of got like a shark tooth necklace and a shirt that's open.
He was in Friday the 13th Part 2. Maybe it's that. I don't know. That's like one of his first films. That's cool, man. I like that you were able to get that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's my beer for today.
Yeah.
All righty then.
That's all right. In other news, the Kelsey brothers are buying stake in a football team. Garage Beer, owned by NFL stars Jason and Travis Kelsey, has bought a stake in the St. Joseph's Goats, a team competing in the Arena League. The deal, which
real football.
Well, Kelsey, the one's still in the league, so they can't really buy stuff
in the NFL. You can at least in the Canadian Football League.
The deal, which marks another stage in the football siblings' expansion of their business portfolio since Jason's retirement from the Philadelphia Eagles, has been described by the company as more than a sponsorship. According to a statement from the Kelsey brothers, from the beer fridge to the front office, the Goats are now powered by the same crisp, uncomplicated energy that fuels Garage Beer. This is more than a sponsorship. It's a bold, possibly confusing leap into the world of professional sports ownership, and we couldn't be more excited. Travis Kelsey and his girlfriend Taylor Swift's penchant for an alcoholic beverage are starting to have a serious impact on sales. Swift, who is currently the world's biggest music star, has attended many Kansas City Chiefs games where Travis Kelsey played as a tight end. What she has snapped drinking is already having a phenomenal impact on drinking sales. Local reports have noted how the timing and location of the acquisition are significant to Travis Kelsey in particular, since St. Joseph's, Missouri is approximately 50 miles north of Kansas City, where he has served as the site of the Chiefs training camp since 2010. Added to this, the geographical connection is thought to give the Kansas City Star a familiar tie to the community. The Goats, formerly known as the Kansas City Goats until a recent name change in April, plays home games at the St. Joseph Civic Arena and were one of the 4 inaugural teams when the Arena League launched back in 2023. With the new alliance, the Kelsey brothers will now join an ownership group that includes the Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Fame figures such as Christian Oki, Okie. Okoye.
Oh, Christian Okoye.
That's what I said. Okie.
Christian Okoye. He's a
Okoye.
Kansas City Chief Hall of Famer.
Gates Barbecue CEO George Gates II. The sports radio personality Stephen St. John. The Kelsey brothers became part owners of Cincinnati-based Garage Beer in 2024, expanding their business from their already successful New Heights podcasting venture. Garage Beer recently launched a new campaign featuring Jason Kelsey in a retro-style martial arts advert. As part of the company's newest deal, the Goats are now set to debut their new Garage Beer sponsored uniforms as they begin their season, with fans being promised exclusive merchandise, behind the scenes content, and continued updates from their new celebrity owners. So, gentlemen, it's time to buy a new Kelsey jersey.
In two pieces of unrelated news, Kevin lifted the microphone up to his mouth, and all of a sudden it sounded like you were in a room with me.
Yeah.
And B, in slightly football-related news, Mike, Saquon Barkley is going to be on the cover of Madden 26.
Oh, shit.
Doing the backward leap over the Baltimore Ravens player that he did it over.
It gets better. Did you hear what they did to Geno Steaks?
No.
It's now Steakwans. They changed it until the end of the week.
Saquon
They changed the name from Geno's to Steakwan Steaks.
Saquon Steaks. Well, anyway, if the Madden curse is anything to be believed, we can count on Saquon not really playing next season.
Some bitch.
All right. Moving on.
Do your movie.
Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates Leo.
So I think the first two things I have on my list here are my fault. We decided to do favorite TV shows tonight. One of my favorite TV shows is MASH. And Loretta Swit, best known as Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan on the long-running TV show MASH, passed away this week at the age of 87. Right when we decided to do this episode.
Yes.
Love MASH. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the main segment tonight. Second one is Peter Kwan, a legendary martial artist and actor whose American credits include Big Trouble in Little China, where he played one of the elements, Rain.
Yep.
And Golden Child died this week. He was 76. I said, I think this might be my fault because I watched The Golden Child yesterday and then he died.
Jesus Christ.
So I found this app called Canopy with a K, Kanopy. If you have a library card, you can watch movies for free on the Canopy app. It's owned by the American Library Association. And I have a library card, so I signed up for it. And Golden Child was one of the movies that was in the top of the stream list. And I was like, oh, shit, I haven't seen that in a while. And I watched it. And then Peter Kwong died. So I think it's my fault.
Because you had late fees on your library card. That's why you died.
A trailer was released this week for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, starring Oscar Isaac as Dr. Frankenstein. It's a Netflix exclusive film that's set to be released in November. And gentlemen, the trailer looked amazing. It looked so good. Now, that being said, I hated Nightmare Alley, which was his last movie. So hopefully this is more Hellboy than Nightmare Alley. Because the trailer looked really, really, really good. So I'm excited about that. And I got one more piece of news for you guys.
Let me in now, and it can be nice. Make me go now, and I have to come back. Not once, not twice, but as many times as I
For those of you listening and not watching, that is Kevin's nightmare, Pickless Cage.
That's right.
It's a video of a pickle with Nicolas Cage's face on it singing the Long Lake song. I just thought I'd throw that out there for you, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mike, you have any must-try beer craft destination for this evening?
I do. This is the V Sense. This is a Belgian amber ale, 7.5% alcohol by volume. The V Sense is a natural amber beer from Belgium, first brewed in 2008 by brewers Stefan Muellerman and Alexander Dumont. Made with 100% malted barley. It is unfiltered, unpasteurized, and re-fermented in bottle, preserving its authentic character and depth. This artisanal brew highlights the complexity of 3 distinct malts balanced with carefully selected hops. It pours a vibrant, bright amber and offers an aromatic nose bursting with mandarin orange, complemented by notes of grapefruit, lemon, and tropical fruit. On the palate, the V Sense is well-rounded and expressive, lightly sweet with mild hop bitterness that melds beautifully with the juicy aromatic backdrop. A lingering fruity aftertaste adds a final touch to this flavorful bottle conditioned beer. The bottles are 750 milliliter bottles is where it comes in.
I'm not really interested in anything unless it has barnyard funk in it.
But this one's juicy.
Is it prune juice juicy or just juicy in general?
Well, it's mandarin orange juicy and grapefruit lemon juicy.
Okay.
Tropical fruit juicy.
We're going to take a quick break, hear a promo from Podnation Media Network, and then we'll be back with our main segment. Hey, movie lovers. This is Leo.
Mike.
And Kevin from Films and Fermentation.
If you love comedy, movies, and a good drink in hand, then you need to check out the Podnation Media Network.
It's home to a variety of amazing podcasts covering everything from pulp culture to history, and of course, movies like ours.
And the best part, Podnation Media Network is featured on Roku, so you can stream your favorite podcasts anytime.
Alongside Films and Fermentation, you'll find other fantastic shows like the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Real Sharks, and so many more.
So grab a drink, press play, and join the fun with Podnation Media Network.
Because everything's better with a little comedy, movies, and booze.
Learn more by going to linktree.com/PodNationPods. Thank you for sticking with us after that short little break from our friends at the Podnation Media Network. We're going into our main segment tonight. We're taking a little turn from what we normally do, which is talking about movies and talking about TV tonight. We decided to talk about some of our favorite TV shows of all time, especially with, the recent passings of George Wendt from Cheers, and, as I said earlier, Loretta Swit from MASH. Do a little talk about some favorite TV shows. So I the other day, when I had a minute to myself, I tried to put together a little mix of TV show theme songs. I'm not sure how well it came out. Hopefully it sounds good. I'm going to play it now as a little intro into the segment. So let's see how it sounds. And I have a little poster I made to go with it. It's the Gentlemen of Films and Fermentation at Cheers. And then here is my theme medley.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the light. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Muppet Show tonight.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? All those nights when you've got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat up by its tail, and your third fiance didn't show. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. See, no one told you life was gonna be this way.
Visions of the things to be, the pains that are withheld for me, I realize and I can see that soon painless, it brings on many changes.
I hear you singing. I thought this was on mute.
Take or leave it if I please. The game of life is hard to play. I'm gonna lose.
All right. That wasn't bad.
No,
Actually came out pretty good.
two things I want to say about this, though.
What's that?
Two things I want to say. It's sad that I know the worst is Suicide is Painless.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's from the MASH movie. I couldn't find a TV show with free rights, so.
And why is my character in Cheers much bigger than everybody else's? I'm like the big guy. What the hell?
I don't know.
You're the skinny guy there, Lee.
Blame it on ChatGPT. I just didn't realize there were all the years that I've loved that show Cheers, I never realized there were that many other lyrics to that song either.
There are 12 verses, gentlemen.
Holy shit. I gotta learn them all now. Oh god. So I figured how we can do this. So I have my shows ranked. I'm gonna start from the lowest show on my list and work my way up. If you have any of the shows that I have on my list, you can let me know where they're ranked on yours before we go to your list. I'm going to start with my first show on my sitcom list, number 5 in the ranking. This doesn't mean anything other than I just, have other shows that I like more, but I love this show, and it's the oldest one probably on any of our lists, I think, possibly. The Honeymooners.
To the moon, Alice.
Boom, right to the
To
moon.
the moon, yeah. Domestic violence was never so funny as it was in The Honeymooners. Starring Jackie Gleason, Art Carney, and others. Now, this is, of course, a really old show. It started in the 50s. It's black and white. It's mostly done in one set. Takes place in Ralph Cranman's apartment, played by Jackie Gleason, and Audrey Meadows playing his wife, Alice. And it's just a funny show, man. There's so many like classic funny moments on this. And the reason I have it on my list is my dad and I used to watch this. It used to come on every night at 11 p.m. on one of the UHF stations. back in the day. And I used to have a curfew, or I used to have like a bedtime until the Honeymooners started playing. And then I was allowed to stay up till 11 o'clock because my dad wanted me to watch it. And he and I used to laugh so hard watching it that we would wake up our neighbor. Because it's just so many, especially the Ed Norton character played by Art Carney was just so funny.
Ooh.
Teaching him how to play golf. First thing you have to do is address the ball. Hello, ball.
I thought that was a bit done on Gilligan's Island between Mr. and Mrs. Howell.
It was actually from the
redone.
Honeymooners. Yeah.
How about that?
There's one. What's the other one I'm thinking of? He's going on some show. Oh, Ralph Cram was on this show where you have to guess the tune, and he's doing really, really well. And he gets to the last round, and he's practicing with Art Carney with Ed Norton, and Ed Norton keeps playing Swanee River as a warm up. And then when he gets to like the final round, he guesses Swanee River because it's the only song he can think of, and it's wrong, and he loses the money he was supposed to win. So it's like, we lost Kev. You there, Kev?
Kev was
I'm here blowing my nose. I didn't think you wanted to watch.
I didn't know what happened there for a second. So that was the fifth ranked show on my sitcom list. I know I don't see the Honeymooners on any of your lists. So Mike, why don't we go to your list, and you can start any order you want.
I'm gonna go with my fifth one. I know mine is kind of out of order, but I'm gonna go with what you talking about, Willis.
Different strokes move the world. Yes, indeed, it takes different strokes to move the world.
I just rich white people adopt poor black people. with a little guy that has attitude.
Who was actually 47 when he played the role.
Yeah, he was.
What was his name? Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman.
Yeah. Got away with the child labor laws with that.
What you talk about, Willis? This was like, I think Different Strokes is like the birth of the very special episode. There's like there's that episode where they're like, trapped by the child molester.
A very special episode of
Different Strokes. There's a movie. Speaking of the films that time forgot, there's a movie from the 90s called Stay Tuned starring John Ritter.
Oh, yeah.
It's about a guy who's addicted to TV and he gets sucked into the television by the devil. And he's clicking through all these different shows that are created by hell. And in the one, you see two old guys sitting on the couch, and one goes, "I can't feel my arm," and the other one's like, "I can't feel my face." And then the title pops up, and it goes, "Different Strokes." It's wrong, but I thought of that. I don't know why.
I just remember having fond memories of watching that show when I was younger. I'm not a big sitcom guy to begin with, so that was probably my hardest list to do.
Yeah, it was actually. For me, it was like a hard list to do because there were so many I wanted to list.
Some of the same ones you had either, besides MASH.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I make fun of your age all the time, although I'm only like 2 or 3 years younger than you.
Yeah.
So I do remember watching like Different Strokes a lot as a kid too. It was one of those shows I think was like, it felt like it was always on. I think it was like a syndicated thing or something because like it would always be on like the same channel all the time and.
Different Strokes, Facts
they were like, a lot of those shows were like kind of like on repeat. Different Strokes. So that's what I was like, going to see, like how many theme songs can we sing tonight? Speaking of comedies, Kev, why don't you give us one of the ones on your list?
Sure.
Go in any order you want.
One that I like watching, I just really enjoyed it. It's Scrubs. Zach Braff. Yeah.
You mean the T-Mobile commercial?
Yeah.
Again?
The guy from the T-Mobile commercial.
The guys from the T-Mobile commercial.
The guy from the T-Mobile commercial. Him and his friend Donald. Donald
Faison.
Donald Faison. Yeah, and it's it's goofball, Sacred Heart hospital comedy show. I thought it was done really well. I liked his taking of like wild ideas and seeing them play out. Like any good show, it went on way too long and
You're not
started
a
to
fan
be
of that final season where they brought in the whole crew and
whole different crew. And does he get the girl? Does he not get the girl? What's going on with the girl? But some of the more tender episodes where the relationship between him and Dr. Cox is adversarial, but it's really for training purposes. But when Cox is going through things like the loss of his brother-in-law and his divorce and the birth of his child and things like that, I thought it was really well done. I thought it was good.
Isn't that the Brendan Fraser episode where like he
Yeah.
sees him the whole episode, but you don't realize to the end that he's just talking to like a ghost or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's acting as if he's still there and everything's okay, and that was his way of dealing with the grief.
Yeah, I mean it's a good show. I haven't watched it probably as much as you have. I know this is one of your favorite. I know it's one of your
watched it with your wife while
I was going to say you watched it with my wife while she was recovering from surgery. So yeah, but it's not one that I've seen extensively. But I know like some of the episodes, like especially that one with like the Brendan Fraser guest star and all that. All right, back to my list. My number 4 on my list again because I ranked mine is. Night Court. So I rewatched this one. I rewatched Night Court like maybe 2 summers ago. I was just looking for something funny to watch to like pass the time or whatever, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm gonna watch Night Court again." I haven't watched that in forever. It's still funny, man. Some episodes are a little out of date.
Didn't Brent Spiner have a recurring role on that?
Brent Spiner's like first like major TV role was on Night Court as a recurring character.
Yeah,
it was.
He's really funny.
Pumpkin or something.
Yeah, he's like it's a family. Him and his wife. They have the worst luck. The worst things always happen to them, and they always end up in court. And they talk about like these sad stories about like what happened to them and stuff. And yeah, he's really funny. The first like 2 seasons are like hard to get through because it's not the full cast yet. Like they went through like a recurring, like a bunch of different actors like playing different roles. Other than like John Larroquette as Dan Fielding and Harry Anderson as the judge, a lot of the other characters were like rotating through. It was like the 3rd season when they finally like nailed down the full-time Marky Post. You had Richard Mull as Paul.
Charles Robinson, Marshall.
Yeah, so like once they had like that cast nailed down, it really got good. And there are some really like out there episodes, but they're all they're still really funny. Especially John Larroquette as Dan Fielding.
What do you think about the reboot?
So I started watching it. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I didn't laugh as much as I was hoping to.
Yeah.
I mean, John Larroquette's still really funny. They have the same problem. They have a lot of actors who are kind of like rotating because they don't want to stay with the show.
Right.
And I like Melissa Rauch a lot. I loved her on Big Bang Theory. Like Bernadette was one of my favorite characters. But I think the show loses a little something because most of the other actors from Night Court are dead.
Yeah.
The only ones who are on the reboot are John Larroquette and Marsha Warfield, who played Roz, comes on once in a while. And that's it. It's like otherwise it's like I got through like the first 2 seasons and I kind of stopped after that. Night Court, the original Night Court, I can watch that whole series again if I wanted to.
Yeah, I didn't think the reboot was as funny.
No, it's. I hate saying this. I say this all the time, but like, there's certain things you can't do anymore.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things that made the original show so funny was that it was like kind of jokes you can get away with in the 80s.
Yes.
Like the one that's on Peacock now is kind of like really watered down. Unfortunately. Anyway, that's Night Court. Mike, what's the next one you want to talk about sitcom wise?
Talking about stuff you can't do on TV anymore. Let's talk about aliens that won't eat cats.
I assume you're talking about Gordon Shumway.
Yes. Also known as Alf.
Alien life form.
Yes,
because
the only
life forms two words.
His name should be Al.
Sorry.
So
You make cartoon
I don't
series.
think my name is. You could call me your Al is the theme song, but okay. I don't think Paul Simon had anything to do with Al.
No.
Alan walks down the street. It's a street on a strange road.
You can be my bodyguard. I can be your long lost pal. You can call me Betty, and Betty, when I call you, you can call me Alf. Call me Alf. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, fond memories of watching because this is one of the ones where they had a Muppet,
Yeah,
Republic or whatever, on late night, on night TV, not just kids stuff. This is everybody's watching this guy.
was Alf a Jim Henson
I don't think he was.
production? Because I mean, he's reminiscent of like those Muppet sort of like puppets are.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Okay.
And, you see different parts of him. You see the feet running down.
One of the most frustrating final episodes of all time
Was Alf. Yeah.
Alf gets abducted or gets captured by the FBI. The show ends on that cliffhanger, gets canceled. We never find out what happens to Alf.
Yeah. It's the worst.
I'll save anybody the aggravation of watching that final season if you'd like.
Watch the others. Hilarious. It's a very funny show. But again, it's stuff you probably don't want to see nowadays.
So when I said that, oh, you mean Gordon Shumway? So my brother-in-law Howard, one day I don't know how we got to talking about Alf for some reason.
Oh Jesus!
And he went, oh, you mean Gordon Shumway? And I go, who? And he goes, that's Alf's real name, Gordon Shumway. And I was like, dude, I know a lot of trivia. I didn't remember that one, but I haven't forgotten it since because I thought it was so funny. Was he from the planet Melmac?
Yes, it was. It was Melmac.
Yeah.
So speaking of like offbeat Saturday morning cartoons, do you remember the Alf cartoon?
Yes, I do. When he was actually on Melmac.
It was his life on Melmac.
Yes.
And I remember watching it as a kid thinking, this is really sad because I know this planet's going to be destroyed. It's kind of like watching that TV show Dinosaurs where the final episode is them getting hit by the asteroid.
It couldn't have ended any other way. Alf was apparently made by his creator, Paul Fusco, who I believe also did the voice. But according to this, Jim Henson was a big fan of Alf, and he was kind of hoping for an Alf Muppet crossover.
That would have been fun.
Interesting, yeah.
Alf has a slightly
it's on Reddit, or Reddit, so it must be true.
Oh, it's on Reddit?
It's on Reddit.
All right. Kev, what's the next one on your list of comedy shows?
Next one on my list is a blast from the past, but something it brings back fond family memories, not so much of the show, but of just being around my family watching the show, and that's Murphy Brown.
Yes.
Candice Bergen and others.
I used to watch Murphy Brown, so I like Murphy Brown.
Yeah, no, it was a good show. One thing that stands out in my mind is we had a dog at the time named Barney, who wasn't easily startled or rattled, but every time that damn elevator rang or opened up, Barney ran towards the door thinking it was the doorbell. So it was good. Murphy Brown is a reporter, like a network reporter, doing hard hitting stories. She works for a very young executive named Miles Silverberg, played by Grant Shroud. One thing I remember was how beautiful Faith Ford was.
Oh, I was gonna say, man, I had such a crush on Faith
Oh
Ford.
yeah, yeah.
Corky Sherwood. Man, I loved her so much. I remember in one episode she marries a guy whose last name is Forrest, so she becomes Kirky Sherwood Forrest.
But it was a good show.
No, really, the draw of the show was
controversy,
Robert
a lot of
Pastorelli as Eldon, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The guy that, like, for some reason, never finished painting her house.
He'd been there for years, and then
8
I think
episodes,
that might have been the
8
season
seasons.
finale. Was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm done? You're done.
Only
Because
took him
there's
12
nothing
years.
nothing left for me to do. You know.
Let's
She
see. The show
realized
ran from 1988. It actually had a reboot. Like it came back on again in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
And ran for like 280 episodes, and it took that long for him to paint that house. That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is back in the day where, like,
the big Dan Quayle thing, because he was the vice president at the time. He was making comparisons to the Murphy Brown's character being a single mom, I think.
Yeah, that was like a big deal. This is also back like before streaming, you know, or like you couldn't just binge watch shit. So like you kind of watched what was on.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things, like if you watch like a certain channel all the time, you kind of just watch the shows that came on. And like Murphy Brown was one of those shows for me.
Yep.
Not that it wasn't a good show. I did like Murphy Brown. My next show is a spin-off show that actually was probably just as successful, if not more than successful, than the show it was a spin-off of, and that is Frasier, which was a spin-off of Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about both shows together because they kind of, since they kind of go hand in hand. But before I do that, I have to do this. Baby, I hear the news is calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Hey.
Mercy. So that is your theme song from Frasier, which is sung by Kelsey Grammer himself. A spinoff of a character who started as a recurring character on Cheers.
Yes.
And then soon became a full-time cast member. Was one of the better characters on the show for a while. And they get the spinoff, and the spinoff just becomes a monster itself. Wins like record number of Emmys for Best Actor, for Supporting Actor, for David Hyde Pierce as his brother Niles, for Best Comedy Show. Ran for like 11 seasons. I rewatched Frasier recently too. By recently, I mean within like the last couple of years, and laughed my ass off, man. Like I laughed so hard rewatching it. And I'm like, because when I watched it as in the 90s, I was kind of young and dumb. And I watched it now as an adult, and I can understand some of the jokes better. And man, it hits so hard. It's so funny.
Weren't they going to reboot that one as well?
They did a reboot on Peacock or Paramount, one of those, and wasn't great. And it didn't last very long. I think they already canceled it, I think.
You know what thing that they played off of with Frasier that they kind of started with Cheers was the hidden spouse.
Yeah.
You know, where Norm's wife,
Niles.
right?
Yeah.
You never see Norm's wife Vera, and you never see Niles' wife Maris.
Maris?
Yeah.
Maris. But a lot of jokes about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Niles is in love with Daphne Moon, the caretaker of Frasier's father.
Mm-hmm.
I had such a crush on her too, man.
Yeah.
I had a crush on Roz too, the one that worked the producer of the show.
She was the daughter of Philadelphia sportscaster, I want to say.
I think you're right. I can't think of who it was though.
Yeah.
But like I said, like Frasier is a spinoff of Cheers. Cheers is the number 2 show on my list. Another show that I can kind of just sit down, put an episode on just for the hell of it, laugh my ass off, and be happy that I watched it. And especially in honor of George Wendt, who passed away recently. Norm Peterson was one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah.
You also had Kirstie Alley, who was on the show, who passed away a couple years ago as well, and she was a great character on the show, replacing Shelley Long after she left. So my number 3 and number 2 were Frasier and Cheers. I love those shows. Making my way in the world today takes everything you got.
Mike, I'm sure you can tie your number 3 and number 2 together.
No, I can't.
Yeah. Actually, Mike's number 3 is my number 1, so we can kind of close out my sitcom list and go right into Mike's list because he and I have the same thing here.
Well,
His 3 and my 1.
My number 3 is actually should be my number 2. Because my number 3 would be The Greatest American Hero.
So number 3 for you is The Greatest American Hero.
Yes.
Go ahead, sing the theme song.
Believe it or not, I'm
walking on it. Never thought. Was this a sitcom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was like it was
Guy
funny.
couldn't land.
Come on. He finds
Hey,
an alien suit that has superpowers and loses the instruction book. And
Yeah, but it
this
doesn't.
thing
It's not filmed before a live studio audience, and there's no laugh track.
don't need a laugh track. It's still a comedy.
There was a laugh track in the Bradley home, that's for certain.
I'll let it pass. Did you know they rebooted this?
No.
Like, apparently there was a reboot a few years ago. They made the protagonist was played by an actress. I don't know if she was supposed to be like the daughter of the original character or something, but they ran I think it ran for like a season and then got canceled. So I was like doing some looking up on some of these shows that we had listed, and I came across that. I didn't even know there was a reboot. That's how poorly it must have been received.
Wow.
I used to love this show when I was a kid too.
Yeah, it was just come on, it's hilarious. He can
It's
fly.
goofy. It's like he's a superhero and he can't figure it out.
He can't figure it out because he lost the instruction book.
You know who was in this reboot of Greatest American Hero?
Who?
George Wendt.
Really?
Yeah. And it had
Oh,
Hannah
wow.
Simone play the daughter, Mira, which I know her from New Girl. And
Okay.
yeah,
So she was supposed to be the daughter of the original actor.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it until I looked it up, and I was like, "Holy shit, there was a reboot!" How did I not know about that?
Reboot.
So how about before we close out my list and go to Mike's actual number 2, which is my number 1, let's go back to Kevin's list now and see his third one on the list there. What do you got, Kev, for sitcoms?
Oh man, how'd this theme song go? And you're not okay. Oh man, this is Malcolm in the Middle.
Mm-hmm.
Life is unfair.
It's the origin story of Walter White.
Right. Malcolm in the Middle, family. Oh gosh, I wish I brushed up on this, with my homework and all. Essentially, though, it's told from the perspective of the middle child, who is named Malcolm, and that is
Who's
Frank
technically not the
Muniz.
middle child since there's 4 kids.
Technically, but he is. Frankie
Muniz.
Muniz, Bryan Cranston, Justin Bearfield. It has Jane Kaczmarek plays the mother. I think she was one of the funniest characters on the show. Christopher Masterson. It's just a family that is really middle class and they
fun and dysfunctional.
Fun, yes, they put the fun and dysfunctional. Couldn't have said it better myself. I could have tried, but I didn't want to.
I don't know why, and this is even before we decided to do this episode tonight, but there have been a lot of Malcolm in the Middle clips showing up on Reels and TikTok and stuff.
Oh yeah?
I don't know why. There's all these clips have been showing up recently. One is with Dewey where the mom's pregnant and he thinks the baby is talking to him, telling him to do things. That clip's been coming up a lot. The one where Malcolm's friend, the girl, comes back from summer camp or something, and she went through puberty, and now she's got a rack.
Say that one again.
It's a girl that he's like friends with at school or
Oh,
something,
okay.
and she's always wearing like big sweaters. And he spills something on her sweater, and she takes it off, and she's like developed because she went through puberty, and like he can't stop staring at her chest. Like that
So
one's been coming up a lot.
this one, this I mean, this came to my head because I enjoyed watching it, but I'm also thinking I may have been thinking of The Middle.
Oh, that's the one with Patricia Heaton.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Brick.
janitor from Scrubs and Brick. Yeah.
Brick.
And Axel and
Their kids' names are Axel and Brick. That's a kind of funny show too, though. The Middle.
Yeah.
All right. So my number one sitcom is Mike's number two, so we can knock two birds out with one stone here. My number one is MASH.
You know what
Starring Alan Alda as Hawkeye Pierce.
What I really loved about MASH was you got of course it's funny, but then it gets in serious episodes.
Oh yeah,
and sometimes it shocks you with some of the stuff it did, like when they killed the Colonel off when he left.
Colonel Blake, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and that was like the reaction they have in the scene where his death is announced was like a real reaction, because the only person who knew about it was the director, the writer, and Gary Burkhoff, who played Radar. So like people were like actually shocked when he came in and announced that in that scene. But yeah, like a lot of people like complain that the later seasons were like kind of preachy, but I think the later seasons were some of the better seasons. They had some of like the really like avant-garde episodes for the time. Like there's one where the entire episode is told from the point of view of a wounded soldier who can't talk.
Right.
And you're just seeing everything through his eyes. There's the one where they're trying to keep the guy alive until midnight so he doesn't die on Christmas.
Yeah.
There's the newsreel one that's in black and white where the reporter is interviewing them about the war. Like, and just the finale itself is a record-breaking show. So I don't know much else I can say about that. And we lost Hot Lips this week, Loretta Swit.
So did you like Winchester or the other guy?
I liked Frank for what they used to do to him, like the pranks they would pull and all that stuff. But I liked Winchester because he was like a good foil for them, because they couldn't pull one over on him the way they could on Frank.
Right.
So like the things they like the directors and the creators of the show said is every time they had to replace an actor, they tried to replace him with a character that was totally different.
Right.
So that it wasn't like the same dynamics. Like when Colonel Blake died, they replaced him with Colonel Potter, who was a much different, person in charge. And then when
Hawkeye had two roommates, right?
Yeah, Trapper John left, and they brought BJ in, who was a completely different person. Yeah.
Right.
I kind of like that they did that with the dynamics.
From what I heard from the rumor mill was the reason they killed Blake off was because when Trapper John left, he went on and made another television series with the same character.
Yeah, he made Trapper John MD.
Yeah, so they didn't want that to happen again because it wasn't. Well,
the guy that played Blake, McLean Stevenson, said that he regretted leaving the show afterward because he thought that he could be like a bigger star on his own, and it didn't happen for him.
Yeah.
So I love MASH. Great, my favorite sitcom of all time. That leaves
my number one.
Mike's number one, which is
Big Bang Theory, which I got some.
You got the clip of the bare naked lady singing the theme song?
No, I do not.
I'm not insane. My mother had me tested.
And I got this one.
I always tear up when the Grinch's heart grows 3 sizes.
Tears seem appropriate. Enlargement of the heart muscle or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious disease which could lead to congestive heart failure. La, 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 la.
And my favorite one is, wait, you mean I have Leonard Nimoy's DNA? All I need is a healthy ovum, and I could clone my own Leonard Nimoy.
Look, he's
I love
psychic.
when I think Sheldon ends up getting together with James Earl Jones, and James Earl Jones is a prankster, and goes and they do knock knock zoom zoom on Carrie Fisher. God damn it, James! You better stay away from my house.
Stop
Funny fact is
laughing.
that's the first time they were ever on screen together.
Yeah, it's the first time we ever met in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never met when they did Star Wars because he was always in the sound booth. Yeah, Big Bang Theory is a great show, man. Another one that kind of went on a little too long, like they were kind of stretching it towards the end there.
And now they're going to make a spin-off for it
Then
now.
there was a spin-off, and then there was
The
a
spin-off
spin-off
was,
of the
Young
spin-off.
Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they're talking about another spin-off involving the guy that owned the comic book shop, Stuart.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They're about to make a spin-off with Stuart.
So that'd be the third spin-off of the show at that point. It did have a really good finale, though.
Oh, it did.
I think a show can be judged by its finale, and it had a really good finale.
I think I like this one because it wasn't just you didn't see the jokes coming. Like nowadays in sitcoms, you see the jokes kind of coming.
Yeah.
At you. This has got the smart. You have to understand what they're talking about.
Well, that's I look at it too. Is like it's a show about nerds, and I are a nerd.
I are a nerd.
So I kind of was like watching a show about my people.
When I finish the D&D episode, Big Bang Theory will be on there.
I love that they do the D&D episode, D&D game with the girls, and Howard's doing all the voices, and he's like doing Al Pacino. He's like, "You get a sword, and you get to play D&D, and you get to play D&D. We all get to play a D&D."
Or when Shatner was hitting on Penny during the D&D game.
I always like the episodes that Bob Newhart was on.
Oh yeah.
Where's the blonde girl? Yeah, that's a great one, man. That's a really good one. Kev, you have two more on your list, so why don't we hit those real quick?
I wish I could say I watched every season and watched every episode. There's just too damn much, though. The Simpsons, running since 1989. 89, right? And still going strong.
And if you look at it, it was running before that because it was a short on the Tracy Ullman show.
Tracy Ullman show, yeah. Just funny stuff. I don't think they've ever had a dry season, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Everything's always been on point, and the fact that they can predict future things is just remarkable.
I don't know how much of that is just real and how much of it is
using it as the Mandela effect.
Mandela effect, yeah.
Mandela effect.
Let's see here.
My last one is the Goldbergs, because it takes place Philly adjacent. It takes place in Jenkintown, and there's so many references to Philadelphia. And honestly, I see myself in Adam Goldberg. He had the toys I liked. He had the life. I mean, I had an overbearing mother, an overprotective mother. My father was not quite the same as Murray, but the relationship between his brother and me and my brother, and it was just, I could see so much of it, and liking the movies and watching what he would do for, Goonies, and each episode was a movie theme. There was a Goonies episode. There was a Aliens episode. There was a Back to the Future episode, Double Dare. I mean, it took me back to my youth. Watching the show takes me back to my youth. And it's like, I love Double Dare. The slime up the nose to get the flag and running through the mouth with the teeth, And that was like my childhood, which is why it strikes home with me,
So going back to the Simpsons, it looks like they are currently on season 44. Am I doing my math right there? We're season 40. Anyway, they're over 40 seasons and have 848 total episodes. So yeah, that's going to take a little bit more than a weekend to binge.
Not counting the shorts they have on
Yeah.
Disney Plus now,
Or the movie, or Simpsons the movie.
Yeah.
My
Or the
wife
video
just
game.
yeah, my wife just texted me this. I don't have time to upload it. I don't know. A picture of me at the Cheers bar in Boston holding up a beer in the mug shaped like the one that Norm always drank out of. Anyway, those were our comedies. Let's move on to our non-comedy list. I think we should fly through this one a little bit. Speaking of flying, I'm going to start from my number one this time and work my way down. So my number one show of all time that is not considered a sitcom or comedy, but has some comedic elements to it because it's written by Joss Whedon, stars Nathan Fillion. Only had one season, but goddamn was it a good season. That is Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand.
The original space western.
The original
Well, not
space
original, 'cause Star Trek was supposed to be a space western. But
Firefly is a true space western, from the costumes to the guns to the, riding horses on the planets that they land on. It's a space western. It has some great characters, great chemistry amongst the cast, funny jokes, great plot. I mean, it was such a wonderful show that Fox, like many shows back in the 90s and early 2000s, just totally mishandled.
yes, I mean,
really mishandled it.
The cast got along because all his shows, one or two or even three of the former cast members show up on those episodes.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, so that's Firefly, a show that was so popular amongst its rabid fan base that it got a movie to tie up all the plot lines.
Yes.
But I really wish they would have gotten a second season, because there were some really cool plot ideas they had for the second season that I've heard about on some of the documentaries about the making of the show and all, and would have been nice to be able to have gotten to them. I'm going to go to Mike's first, which is also my second in some way.
Yeah, mine is more than one. Mine is Star Trek, the original series, the Next Gen, and DS9.
Mike cheated by throwing 3 Star Trek shows into one category. My number 2 is just the Next Generation. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyagers of the Starship Enterprise. Their mission.
I grew up on all these 3. Well, I grew up on the original series, and as a teenager, the Next Gen came out and just kept going, and until they got to Voyager and they went too far.
I actually kind of like Enterprise. I thought Enterprise was pretty good.
I liked Enterprise too. I liked the formation, the beginning.
Yeah.
For me, my top is Next Gen, because I was more into that than I was the original series. As far as the original series go, I was more into the movies.
The original series, you got stuff like this.
Fighting the Gorn. Anyway, the Bad Movies Rule guys asked me to comment on a movie again. And the movie's called Hell Comes to Frogtown, starring Rowdy Piper. And the final fight scene in the film takes place at the same mountain where Kirk fought the Gorn. Anyway, Star Trek. If you'd like to know more about our thoughts on Star Trek, check out our Star Trek episode that we did way back when, where we ranked the movies and the TV shows and all things Star Trek. Kev, what's the first one you got on your list of dramedy non-comedies?
This is one that was on HBO for a little while. It was Newsroom, essentially, about a network news show that deals with actual news items that occur, that had occurred in the United States at the time, and it was a fictitious newsroom but how they went about like reporting it and what restrictions they found against them and corporate takeovers and stuff like that. Starred Jeff Bridges, Olivia Munn, others. What's that? Tiffany
Daniels, not Jeff Bridges.
Cliff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, not Jeff
Daniels.
Bridges.
That's who I said. Jeff Daniels. Sorry.
And Olivia Munn, yes. I've never watched the show, but I do know that clip that they show all the time.
Yeah,
the monologue about why America's not the greatest country.
Why is America so great? And he's like, it's not. He said it's not the greatest, and here's the reasons why. Here's why America used to be the greatest. And he talks about dignity, and he talks about collaboration and trying to not one up the other guy, but just to work together to be the best together.
Great monologue.
Great monologue.
I mean, unfortunately, that's all I know of the show.
Yeah, if you get an opportunity, man, it's pretty good.
Let's see here. My next one is, as soon as I get back to my notes, is I already talked about Star Trek: The Next Generation because that's on Mike's list. Third one on my list of dramas / non-sitcoms is The Blacklist. This is actually a recent addition to my list of favorite TV shows because I had just finished the entire series not too long ago. It's 7 seasons. Honestly, the whole reason to watch the show is James Spader, who is phenomenal in this show. He plays a wanted criminal named Red Reddington who makes a deal with the FBI to help them catch criminals that are on the FBI's blacklist, which is a list of like the most dangerous criminals in the world. It's kind of a police procedural type show, but it has like a lot of like international intrigue and is worth it more or less just for James Spader because he is a cold son of a bitch in the show. It has some like really cool moments in it. And it's one that I've recently kind of been like rewatching some of like my favorite episodes just to kind of like get myself in the mood for this topic tonight. Mike, I'm glad you put this one on your list because I didn't put it on mine because I had a feeling you were going to put it on yours.
And I still haven't watched the last 5 episodes.
And you still haven't watched the last 5 episodes, which, dude, are going to break your heart, man.
My name is Dean Winchester. I'm an Aquarius. I enjoy sunsets, long walks on the beach, and frisky women.
Carry on my wayward son.
Hey, that's butt.
It's butt. That'd be supernatural.
Don't watch porn in a room full of dudes.
It is like a great show. It is a show to kind of outstayed its welcome a little bit.
A little bit, but I
mean, they stopped the apocalypse in season 5 and then had 10 more seasons.
Even the bad seasons had some good episodes in it.
They had some great characters too, like side characters like Charlie, played by Felicia Day. Like she was a great character. Bobby, Singer, was a great character.
Idiots,
Castiel, of course.
Castiel.
Oh
God, there's so much, and
did Constantine make an appearance on this show? Am I thinking
not on
correctly?
Supernatural.
Not on Supernatural.
He was on Green Arrow.
Okay.
Which is
but Scooby-Doo and them did.
Yeah, there was an episode of Supernatural where they got sucked into a Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Dean was trying to nail Daphne the whole episode. While Velma was trying to nail Sam. Yeah, Supernatural, man. So, like, if you ever get a chance to watch those last 5 episodes, Mike, it's worth watching, but get ready for some heartbreak.
Oh, yeah. I kind of
know. Speaking of shows, I'm happy somebody put on their list because I didn't put it on mine. Kevin's second one on his list is one that I was going to put on mine, but didn't anyway.
Well, he's going from the bottom up.
Oh, you're going from the bottom up. I was
going from the bottom up. Now I'm just jumping around to keep up with you guys who are all in the fucking place.
Start from the top down.
You started from
I'll
the
go
top
with the
down.
lead in from Leo. So
All right, go ahead. Lead it in.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, I was talking about ER.
Oh, are you?
No, I was talking about Game of Thrones.
I really miss that George Clooney and Juliana Margulies.
I missed that Caesar haircut.
Now, Game of Thrones really got into the show. It took me a while. It took me. I didn't watch it from the beginning. I watched it probably in its third season is when I played catch up because my coworkers at the time were like, "Oh my god, you know." So it took me it took me a hot minute to get into it.
I've started it twice.
Oh, okay.
The problem is,
too
many stories going on at once.
That's true. Yeah.
A lot of names to remember, a lot of stories.
Yeah.
A lot of stories going on all at once.
I mean, they do eventually kind of like whittle down to like a few important characters.
They all converge. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, eventually they all converge into the conclusion.
But I was the same way, Kev. Like I started late on this. I started watching it after somebody ruined the Red Wedding for me.
Oh no!
Like I had not even watched one episode of the show, and somebody was like, "Oh, check this out!" And I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" And they're like, Game of Thrones, and I'm like, "All right, what season does this happen in? Because you just ruined something for me."
I watched the show that particular episode was on, and I started yelling at the TV. Yeah, and you see the reaction videos of others, and it is, if you're unaware and you catch it, it does hit you that hard. It's like, no, you know. But I mean, it held my interest. I will say it didn't. It took a turn that I was kind of like, meh, you know.
Well,
Wasn't
it
thrilled with the
suffered from lack of episodes in that last season.
Yeah.
Well, it suffered from the author never finishing the fucking books.
I mean, it didn't matter too much. They kind of diverged from the books a little bit. Like there were characters that weren't included and all that. And in the last season, like because he hadn't written a book, they kind of came up with their own plot line, which was hurt by the fact that they only did 6 episodes in the final season when the whole show is normally like 10 episodes.
Yeah, easy.
But I will say it psyched me for House of the Dragon, and I've enjoyed
That's been good so far.
Seasons of that, you know.
Yeah, House of the Dragon's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm glad you had that on your list because like I didn't have anywhere to put it on mine. I was like trying to fit everything in there. I actually had something else on my list and then took it off so I could put this one on there at 4th. It's Doctor Who. When I talk Doctor Who, I mean New Who from Christopher Eccleston on. I have not really watched much of the original Doctor Who. I know enough to get the lore of the New Who, but not like that much of the original.
Right.
I will say this: big spoilers for the latest Doctor. I'm not going to say anything about it. Mike's already had it spoiled for him.
All over Facebook.
Wait, they're changing doctors again already? Didn't they just?
So yeah, the guy that played the Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, just finished his run as the Doctor and regenerated in his last episode already.
It was a season.
He did 2 seasons of 8 episodes each. And we're talking about like how like show gets hurt by not having enough episodes.
Did he do a Christmas episode as well?
He did a Christmas movie too, yeah. But like Chris Eccleston only had 1 season, but he had 13 episodes.
Yeah.
And so you had room for the character to kind of grow and get to know the character and stuff. This is like a Disney Plus thing. Mike and I were saying this before the show. Like Disney Plus just likes to only do 8 episode seasons for some reason. And I think like it hurts the character a little bit because you don't get to really know him that well. Now, Disney is releasing their contract with Doctor Who because they had really bad ratings with it. And it's going back to BBC. So it's going to be England, BBC produced again eventually when they decide what they want to do with it. So I have some high hopes for it in the future.
I hope.
High hopes, but my hopes have been crushed before, so we'll see. Next one on Mike's list is another good one. I like the show. I watched this whole series too.
Oh yeah, I watched the whole series. The ending of this Castle was like, did they really get shot and killed, or what the hell? and then they because they just show them pretty much both been shot, and they fade to black, and then they come back with them years later. The house, it started off with the house being empty, though.
Yeah. Dude, Kate Beckett, man. I love that actress played Kate Beckett was so hot.
I thought they had a pretty good cast all the way around.
I had a good cast all the way around. They had really good chemistry together, even though the actor and actress didn't like each other in real life.
Yeah, by the middle to the end of the series, they started just getting along.
Who doesn't like Nathan Fillion?
Exactly.
You know?
The actress, Donna Caddick, apparently.
And you notice she really hasn't done anything since. Oh.
Yeah. She was in the movie The Spirit with Samuel L. Jackson.
I thought that before. But I enjoyed Cast. I thought it was a different spin on the cop procedural.
Because he's a writer who.
He's a writer, yeah.
I actually read one of the books that were like a.
I have them.
Well, I heard Castle wanted to get a deeper feel of the police industry, so he joined up.
He got a real deep feel because he ended up with the cop that he's studying all the time.
He's a rookie now.
He's a rookie now.
You got as deep a feel as you can get.
I liked the earlier episodes where they actually brought the writers on with him. Play the poker games.
I like when he starts wearing the bulletproof vest that says writer on it.
Writer.
Yeah, I like that. I always liked when he would bring in jokes about Firefly.
Yeah.
There was like an episode where he starts speaking Mandarin. I think I learned it somewhere a while back.
I learned it from a TV show I watched.
Yeah, I was from a TV show I used to watch. Yeah, and then like he dresses up as the space cowboy for some like Comic-Con event or something.
Yep.
All right, Kev, you can choose any of the other shows you got on your list, so I don't fuck with this.
I'm going to go back to the creator of Newsroom, who was Aaron Sorkin, and go to the show that I remember him most from, which is The West Wing.
Which would have been on my wife's list, that's for sure.
Yeah. It is a show about a president in office. I think it ran for 8 years. I don't 7. It ran for 7 years. Which was good. It was, the 2 terms of the presidency, his cabinet, his mostly though his staff, his office staff, and how they worked in the building. Had a lot of good episodes dealing with just military issues and the political battles between the 2 political parties, and just an all-around great show. And I know Martin Sheen wasn't, he was hired to play the president. He wasn't supposed to be like a recurring character. He was actually supposed to be very rarely seen on the show. And I think they changed it based off of like how well the first episode, the pilot episode went.
Yeah, the reason it was 7 because they started off in the 2nd year of office.
Yeah.
Isn't he replaced by like Jimmy Smits or something?
Jimmy Smits was that like the last episode was him being sworn in.
Yeah, and it was interesting to see how the Democratic primaries were going and how they negotiate, like how they actually talk and be like, look, one of us has to just like take the reins, and the vice president didn't want to give it up, and the former vice president didn't want to give up his run for it, and how the party actually worked to determine the candidate. One of the episodes that stands out the most to me was shortly after 9/11, where it was kids. There was a lockdown in the White House, and there was a tour of school kids coming through. They were like student government related, and they all they had to stay within a room. And one by one, you start seeing the staff members come in and start talking about, why is democracy important, and how does terrorism exist with like the fanatics and stuff like that. I just thought it was a great episode.
I was going to ask you if the Newsroom was an Aaron Sorkin show, because it kind of felt like it was.
It is.
The one episode that really gets to me is right after his secretary died.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, church
And he's in
episode.
the church. He's in the
Yeah.
church.
monologue that he gives in church.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get points.
yeah. And he goes back and forth between Latin and English, and he starts talking. He's like just angry at God, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a follow up episode. I'm not sure. I think it is a follow up episode where you see the relationship he has with
Yes,
that secretary, you know, because she was either a tutor or somebody that he knew in his prep school who he
right.
ended up bringing in with him, you know.
And like every time he has a vision of her, it's the younger version of her, not the older
Yes.
version.
Mm-hmm. Great show.
All
I don't
right.
even want to know you, Jeb.
Mhm.
So my last show on my list is Breaking Bad. Speaking of Malcolm in the Middle, Breaking Bad, a show that is so good that I binge watched 5 seasons in 2 weeks. Like it ended up on Netflix at one point, and so there was no commercials, so I was able to just blow through every episode. And man, it was like gripping from the first episode till the final episode. Just watching this man go from being this like really kind, like caring family man, just trying to do right by his family, trying to, handle the fact that he was diagnosed with cancer and all this stuff, to turning into just like this fucking diabolical villain who actually enjoyed what he did. Is just it's just phenomenal acting from Bryan Cranston, who everybody at the time only looked at as a comedic actor and didn't think he had it in him, and he steals the show. Had some great villains like Gus Fring and Salamanca and all those guys.
Yes, man. Gus Fring's
Gus
death.
Fring's death is amazing. Such a great episode. Jesse Pinkman, the character that's like his partner, is a really cool character. Nobody liked the wife, Skylar. She sucked. But man, it's such a great show. Great show. And it's another one, like I see clips all the time online. Talking about the baby memes, Mike. I saw one was a baby meme of Breaking Bad that was kind of funny. It's like a baby with a goatee and a bald head going, "Say my name." You think I need to be afraid? I am the one who knocks. It's man, Breaking Bad, great one. Mike, you got 2 more on yours. What do you got?
I got the original Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, not the new one?
No, the original. Life here began out there. What's the stars? No.
I mean, that was the cool twist about the end of the original series, was finding out the planet that they were looking for the whole time was Earth.
Yeah, well, we knew it was Earth. It's when they got to Earth and they found out Earth was technologically lesser than they were.
Yeah. I used to love watching this too as a kid, man.
Yes, it was Saturday afternoons after you played outside. You come in, it was Buck Rogers, Star Trek, the Battlestar Galactica.
Buck Rogers, holy shit! I forgot about Buck Rogers.
on the UHF channel. Yep.
Yeah.
It's after all the westerns were done.
See, it must have been different in it must have been different in North Carolina, because Battlestar Galactica used to come on like after school for me.
Oh no. It was a Saturday afternoon after the westerns. It was Buck Rogers and either Battlestar and Star Trek.
That is like TV sci-fi at its like best. Like, it's so like cheesy and like campy, man, but great. This was, what's his name? Was it Lauren Green, who was in Bonanza?
Bonanza, yep.
Captain Adama.
And then you had what's his name? That's actually in my last 2. This man. Starbuck.
Starbuck was Dirk Benedict, who was in the A-Team as Face, yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, and it also had a very, very young what's your name? Shit.
Well, let's look at the cast list.
First season. It was Boxy's mom.
I don't know. I'm looking at the list. I don't see who you're talking about.
She played Solitaire in the James Bond movie.
You're the James Bond guy. I don't know.
Jane Seymour.
Oh, okay. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Yeah, very young Jane Seymour in the as Boxy's mom first season.
It's funny, Mike. We're talking about this, and I'm looking at on IMDb,
and Boxy is Atreyu.
Trey. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the actor who plays Atreyu. So I said we're talking about this, and I'm on IMDb, and I'm looking at shows you should watch if you like Battlestar Galactica, and one of them is Buck Rogers in the 25th Century.
What's up,
Twiggy? Oh man. Let's see. Kev, why don't you give me one of your other ones you got there?
Okay. I'll do ER. One of those 1 hour medical dramas created in the 90s by Michael Crichton. Actually, Michael Crichton was the creator of it. And it was, fast-paced medical situations in the ER, but like relationships between the doctors, nurses, and the hospital. It was interesting. It got me into things like House and Chicago Hope and other medical shows. So,
well, this show was like a monster when it first started. Like it was a ratings giant.
Yeah,
started George Clooney's career.
Anthony Green was in it.
And after he left the show is when I stopped watching it.
Noah Wiley.
Noah Wiley was in it. Yeah.
He's now on The Pit, which is another medical show.
Yeah, I watched this religiously
until
Dr. Green left, and then I was done with it. I think it went on for a few more seasons after that, because I remember Ming-Na Wen was on it for a couple seasons.
She was on it for a bit. Yeah, no, it had a decent cast. Moira Tierney was on it for a little bit.
A little while. Omar Epps was on it for a little bit. Yeah. So I finished my list already. Mike, you got one more on yours, sir. What is that? You already mentioned Dirk Benedict.
Oh yeah,
the A-Team, the show where they would fire off 300,000 rounds of bullets every episode and nobody got hit.
You always had to hear.
I don't stand up for chipper chapper.
Hannibal, I know you love it when a plan comes together.
Should be Hannibal saying that. I love it when a plan comes together.
I couldn't find it with Hannibal saying, I'm like, what the fuck? I love the A-Team back in the day. Oh my god! Except the later season when they started working for the government again.
It was better when they were mercenaries for hire.
Yeah, it was better.
The A-Team. Do you ever see the movie with Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
I started to watch it and went,
yeah, it was all right. It wasn't great. It wasn't Mr. T.
It wasn't. It wasn't. Barkley from
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yeah, it was the South African guy from District 9.
Yeah, Shartel Copley. Yeah. A-Team. And that leaves one more on Kevin's list.
Boom, boom.
Not just any Law and Order.
No, it's got to be SVU.
SVU.
Yeah, I mean, look, the original Law and Order was good. I caught that for a little bit, but it never caught my interest the way SVU did. I think it was how they got Ice-T, to treat every crime scene like he's never been in the SVU unit before.
Like the John Mulaney skit. You mean he molests little girls?
It's an addiction, man. You can't eat more. You need to eat more chocolate cake.
I
Go ahead.
I just started watching this a little bit here and there. Like I can't binge through 27 seasons of a show, but I've been kind of like I looked at like Screen Rant had a list of like the essential episodes, so I've been kind of like going through them. And one of the things I like about it is that it's a show where like you could kind of pick it up anywhere. You don't really have to know the thread.
No,
because it's more about the case than the characters.
Yeah. I mean, you get to know
there is some characters building throughout the thing, but
not enough that like you can't like pick up a show anywhere you feel like it and like
right. It
I
just
will say-
I started it and it just I can only have so much sexual deviance in my life.
Kevin and I are enough for you.
It's like I can't. Some of it just got too. Okay, I can't.
Yeah, there's some like I've watched some pretty intense episodes lately.
Yeah, it can be like.
But I do find I first and foremost I like Stabler and Benson as the team.
Yes.
Them for the first 12 seasons, I think, maybe a little bit more. And then the other editions were good, but they with each new edition, every season that had a new edition, it kind of went down a little bit more in my book, you know.
I liked Richard Belzer's character. He was the kind of sarcastic cop with the like, sunglasses.
Yes, I liked him. Actually, I like the medical examiner. I thought she was a very good role on the show, and B.D. Wong, as a psychologist. But it's background to me anymore, man. If I'm just doing something and Law and Order's on, it's on. I don't need to really be watching it because God knows I've seen the episode 4 or 5 times already. But it's in the background. It's like, okay, this is like white noise. I can just work to this,
For me lately, it's kind of become like, all right, I feel like watching something. I don't know what I want to watch. Let me look at the list of essential episodes and pick one out. And that's kind of like how I've been watching it lately.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I would love to like kind of sit down and kind of watch the show, but a lot of catching up to do on that show.
Oh, good God, man.
Well, like I do that a lot with right now they've got reruns of Criminal Minds on. I never watched it when it was on.
But it has a similar sort of feel to it because like you don't really have to know the characters that well to kind of
but they do more profiling.
Profiling. But it's not always a sexual deviant. Somebody crazy this way.
Mike just likes a good old murder once in a while.
Yeah, just a good old murder.
A little serial
kidnapping and burying alive.
Good old sense.
Dude, I don't want to touch you. I just want to watch you die.
It sounds like a Bond villain.
Oh, it's Bond. I don't want to
touch you, Mr. Bond. I just want to watch you die. All right. So, just missing the cut on my list are the comedy from the BBC comedy Red Dwarf about guys lost in the future.
That's coming back out.
I love Red Dwarf. They every now and then they come out with another like series, another season, and it's like they're getting kind of old and decrepit looking, and it feels kind of bad watching them now. But the early seasons are good. Mrs. Brown's Boys, which is another BBC show that's just fucking hilarious. It's really it's witty. It's done before a live studio audience, and whenever they make a mistake, they like kind of run with it. That makes it even funnier. Family Guy, of course, which I reference often on the show. Rick and Morty, which is another show like I can kind of sit down. That's my background noise show. It's another animated comedy. The IT Crowd, which is another BBC comedy. I love the IT Crowd. Mindhunter, if you're in for a good serial killer show. It's only 2 seasons. It's a Netflix show. Is produced by David Fincher. And it's about the early days of the FBI's serial killer profiling division. The Orville, which is the send-off of Star Trek created by Seth MacFarlane. And Letterkenny, which I had to throw in there for our friends at the KJ&A podcast. It's a Canadian sitcom that is very, very funny, very witty, a lot of great dialogue and great characters. Mike, what's your just misses?
My just misses are the X-Files. Especially the beginning seasons where that was a must watch at the beginning of this.
Yeah, the early seasons are great.
MacGyver, the original.
I would say original, right? Not the new one.
Hogan's Heroes.
I know nothing.
I loved Hogan's Heroes.
I
And
like
of
Hogan's
course, you
Heroes.
know I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah.
Now they're remaking that now too.
Oh, I also liked Angel.
That,
The spin-off of Buffy, Angel, was a really good show too.
The West Wing, which Kevin talked about, and Knight Rider.
Mm-hmm. I wanted a kit, but I would have been happy just with a kit big wheel where it had the light going back and forth, and I could play the sounds.
I had the kit car. And it had a little light in the front. Yeah, the light wasn't like a real light; it was like a reflector.
Oh, okay.
But it had like a little button you could push, and Kit would talk a little bit.
Hey, everybody wanted a kit, but knowing our luck, we would get car.
I wanted Kit, and instead I got David Hasselhoff.
I got the Hawk.
I'm digging Europe.
And Kev, what are your just misses?
My just misses are Taxi with Danny DeVito and Christopher Lloyd. And
what do you do at a red light?
What
do you do at a yellow light?
Slow down.
What do you do?
The Prime series of Jack Ryan, based off of the Tom Clancy character. That was a very good series. Ted Lasso. Oh,
Ted Lasso, so
great series.
So good. I kind of want to rewatch that too because they're going to be doing a new season.
Yeah. The Boys, also on
Boys
Prime.
Is great.
Yeah.
If you like watching shows about guys going inside other guys' penises and then blowing them up, yes, The Boys is your show.
We're running a boat through a
whale.
You don't watch porn.
Or like, what's the last season where Homelander goes back to the lab that made him and he shoots the guy in the dick with his laser beams?
Yeah. And the last one, The Sopranos.
I'm glad you have this one. You just missed. I forgot to put this on mine.
Mm-hmm.
Sopranos, another groundbreaking TV show. Yeah, it's a groundbreaking TV show, The Sopranos.
Yeah.
All right, we have a couple shout outs here. Antonio Palacios on Facebook gave us News Radio as his favorite sitcom.
That was a good one.
I like News Radio. That was a really good show. Phil Hartman was great on that show. And for drama, he gave us Deadwood. I love Deadwood a lot, but I felt like I had to watch it with a dictionary half the time. It was really difficult dialogue. Transit School on Reddit gave us Three's Company. As a classic John Ritter comedy. Our good friend Mike Bruno 52882 on Threads gave us Married with Children.
Love and marriage. Love and
Al Bundy, a TV icon. And we got a text message thing. And once again, anybody wants to text us, I'm happy to receive your text. But please tell me who you are so I can give you a proper shout out because I don't get an ID on the text message. So an anonymous texter gave us The Wire, which I've heard a lot of really good things about. I've never watched it. People always tell me I need to watch it, and I just never get around to it. And Sons of Anarchy as two shows that are great TV experiences. Mike, you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I do. Zymurgy is a scientific study of fermentation and brewing. It also goes by the name zyology and zymology. A person who studies the brewing is typically called a zymologist.
We're going to be changing the name of the show to Cinema and Zymology. That'll really get the SEO up. We have a cinema quote of the week.
If we do that, we got to change all our merch.
I know.
People have already bought so much.
I know. I bought all 3 of those t-shirts for you guys.
I've made so much different merch to give you guys.
Cinema quote.
Cinema is not only about making people dream. It's about changing things and making people think. That's from
Mm.
Nadine Labaki.
That's exactly what the creators of White Chicks thought when they made that film. Let's revisit our drinks this evening. I forgot to mention, I'm drinking gin in honor of MASH because Hawkeye and his bunkmates were always making moonshine gin in a still inside of their tent in the show. So I was drinking gin in honor of my favorite show, MASH. Mike?
My 7-7 is good as always.
Never go wrong with that. And Kev, how was the Kevin Bacon experience?
The Kevin Bacon 6 Degrees of Fermentation from this is the Yards Brew. It was good. It was a Kolsch style ale. I'm sure it tastes just like Kevin Bacon.
Whatever he might taste
It
like.
doesn't taste like bacon at all.
Thanks for joining us for episode 196 before a live studio audience. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Remember, you can email us at filmsoffermentation@gmail.com, visit linktree.com/filmsoffermentation, find all of our social media podcast links, find us on the Pod Nation Media Network on Roku, subscribe to our Substack, find us on Reddit, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/filmsoffermentation, or text us 904-867-4466. Please tell me who you are so I can give you a proper shout out. And make sure you join us next time around at the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented for episode 197. We're going to be doing a recasting episode. We haven't done one in a while, and we felt like it could be a lot of fun to do that. So we are going to be recasting the 1987 classic Young Guns.
Call them Young Guns.
That was the second.
Yeah, it was the second. The second one was Blaze of Glory, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shut down, Blaze of Glory.
I'm Mike.
No, I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
That's weird. That went weird tonight.
Well, you both did yours, so I did mine.
I don't care. I don't. We just do it however we want to do it, so I can close off and go take a piss.
We're your guy tonight.
Fermentation podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.